What are people willing to do for money? Since ancient times, people have been trying to find ways to get rich quick. During the gold rush in Alaska, hundreds of thousands of people rushed there in search of easy money without thinking about what it could cost them and what risks it entailed. Everyone only thought about the wealth it would bring, but the work of a prospector is extremely hard, requiring great endurance and fortitude. Not everyone is able to bear it. It gets even scarier when not only work gets in the way of achieving human goals, but also a huge grizzly bear. What drives him and makes him take such clever actions? Let's figure it out together. The Klondike River became a gathering place for all kinds of people from all over the world after huge gold mines were discovered in it. Hundreds of thousands of people began to flock there in pursuit of their golden dreams. Among these was a group of 10 Americans from different states and 3 Indians who knew the area very well. They started upstream of the Klondike and planned a slow descent down the river in search of gold. They wanted to start early to secure a good spot for themselves. If only they knew how it would end for them. After they reached the city of Dawson in the summer of 1897, no one else saw them. They disappeared without a trace, and no one knew what happened to them until one of them made his way back to civilization. What he said shocked everyone. It turned out that shortly after the men left the city of Dawson, they began to get the feeling that they were being watched. Then one day, they were attacked by a huge grizzly bear. On that day, the bear killed 2 men and dragged their bodies with him. After that, the men were unable to sleep or rest. Every now and then they saw the huge grizzly bear near their camp, but they could not track it down, let alone catch it. The bear was agile and cunning, always appearing where he was least expected. The people wondered why the bear was hunting them. There was so much other game around. Deer ran in herds, but the bear deliberately attacked the people. The men took turns guarding camp, but every morning they were missing 1 or more comrades. In total, over 2 weeks, the grizzly bear killed and ate 11 people from the squad. Only 2 survived, 1 American and 1 Indian. The men tried to get away from the bear, covered their tracks, walked through the water, moved among the trees, but the grizzly seemed to track their every step and always found them. Whatever they did in an attempt to protect themselves, the bear was always 1 step ahead. Finally, the 2 men decided to build a trap for their hunter. All day, they collected huge logs from the forest and sharpened them on both sides. After the logs were finished, they dug a deep hole and began to drive stakes into the ground in the hope that the bear would fall on the stakes and be killed. Many days were spent on this work. Fortunately for the men, the bear never appeared during this time. When he reappeared, the men were ready. They sat high in a tree and waited for the bear. To their surprise and happiness, this time they succeeded and the bear fell into their trap. He was badly wounded, but still alive. Now he was lying down and breathing heavily. Only now they were able to see it up close. It was bigger than any bear they had ever seen before. After a while, the bear passed away, and what the men were able to see up close shocked them. In the nose of this bear, they saw the remnants of an ingrown ring, which people usually put on animals when they work in the circus to entertain audiences. With this ring, the bear can easily be controlled. It is enough just to pull the ring harder, which brings him unbearable pain and makes him obey. The same rings are usually put into the noses of bulls so that they can be controlled. So this bear has dealt with humans before. Perhaps he was held captive by people long enough to give him the opportunity to study the habits of people. That is why he knew how to track the men so well. Apparently, he simply took revenge on his offenders in such a terrible but peculiar way, destroying all humans he came across for the pain that other people have caused him. After the bear died, the men intended to tell others what they had found. However, unfortunately, the Indian man fell ill with scurvy and died of this disease before reaching the city. The American man was the only one of 13 who survived. When he told people his horrific story, no one believed him at first. Then the man pulled out from his bag a necklace made of bear claws, which he prudently cut off from the animal in case no one believed him. By the size of these claws, one could judge the gigantic size of the animal itself. Only after everyone saw these trophies did they finally believe the man. Who knows, if the bear had not fallen into the hands of bad people at one time and had not escaped from them, perhaps these prospectors would have survived. We ourselves sometimes take the first step towards a series of bad events, thinking that our insignificant steps will make no difference. But sometimes it is worth a little thought about what we are doing and what consequences this can lead to. If each of us is conscious of everything that we do, then those that come after us will benefit.